This winter in GuacnChippies, Maduro has been captured.
Outside of oil, what motives could the US want with Venezuela?
Trump is now looking to conquer Greenland, Iran, and even Mexico.
Imagine your country faces hyperinflation. Iran's economy continues to suffer.
Do you know what a pushy outfit is? And if you do, would you wear one?
What the H is going on with ICE?
Would you still buy from Nike after they collaborated with the Kardashians?
If you are a US citizen, be careful if you're traveling abroad. Your passport might be canceled.
Your vice is hurting you financially. Would you vote for a sin tax?
How do you feel about the trend of women proposing to men?
Can Greenland really help with the US national security? Stay tuned to hear more about this on
GuacnChippies.
Hope you all had an amazing holiday season. Happy New Year's, because I haven't said it to our GuacnChippies viewers.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's. Hope you guys enjoyed your holidays as well.
President Nicolás Maduro from Venezuela was captured on January 3rd, 2026. So in the previous episodes in GuacnChippies, we have discussed that Trump was interested in Venezuela due to its oil resources or natural resources. And apparently it happened like 2 a.m. local time from Venezuela. There's been an article that I saw going around. It hasn't necessarily been like confirmed by the US government or anything like that, but they were saying that one of the guards who witnessed the whole takedown or situation, he saw that they were using weapons that were advanced technologically.
Damn.
And that it, according to this guard or this source, a lot of the Venezuelan soldiers fell to their knees and their nose bled because of like this wave that they heard, like the sound wave. So they're saying that the US potentially has a secret sonic weapon.
Damn.
Pretty interesting. Lilo, are you okay?
I'm getting paranoid.
Which I found pretty interesting. Maybe that's the reason why America is confident enough to go after like Greenland and step inside Iran.
Yeah, we haven't seen something like this. Like, I think it's kind of insane that, you know, the US just went out of their way to step into a foreign country and take their leader. It's pretty crazy.
I mean, haven't they been doing that in the past?
Yeah, there's been like ongoing war. Like, this was kind of like spontaneous, in my opinion.
I don't think it was spontaneous because he's been voicing that he was going to do this. So it wasn't spontaneous. So they were like monitoring his every move. I think it was bold because from what I knew and my knowledge, Venezuela was allegedly backed by Russia and potentially even China. So I don't know if they really helped them.
Really?
But a lot of people were celebrating on social media from Venezuela, the Venezuelan citizens, that they were no longer under a dictatorship. But a lot of Americans were kind of upset that US was colonizing.
Isn't that
weird? So there was like different perspectives and opinions on the situation.
When I saw everybody celebrating, I was like, then Trump didn't do nothing bad yet.
No, it's not that. The problem is that Venezuela has been under this leader who caused really bad inflation. People didn't really have good wages. They didn't have food to buy their own produce. There's a lot of crime, and he wasn't looking out for the citizens. So I think that's the problem. That it's like if it happened here, like let's say for some reason war happened, it took our president decided to control everything. We would have curfews. We wouldn't be able to afford. We would be fighting for food and things like that. So I think that's the problem over there.
And they were saying that it wasn't because of the oil that Trump did it.
He says it's because of drug dealing, but it is because of the oil. Why would it? That was like one of the top resources, and USA lacks.
Then why the people saying no?
Well, they say different things because there's like a lot of mixed opinions. But America would not make a move, in my opinion, in a country that they didn't find something useful from it. So they're gonna get something out of return, whether it's the oil or something else that Ismail's going to mention.
But my thing is, you know how in the last podcast we said somebody found a way to make oil
Mm-hmm.
through plastic. Why do they want their oil if they
Because
could make
it's
out
still
of plastic?
an important resource, and I think even if you make it out of plastic, I don't think it's the same quality. So it's I don't know, I've never seen the plastic oil or things like that, but I would assume it's different quality. Kind of like there's different kinds of gold that they sell.
Mm-hmm.
Platted gold is not the same thing as actual gold, and that's why there's price differences. So from my understanding, I feel like that's why, because the oil, it's not something you can
It comes from the ground.
create. Yeah, it comes from the ground.
You don't think it's interesting that the people of Venezuela, the ones that are actually there, are celebrating this, but yet here people are protesting, or it's not a heavy protest, but they're protesting that Trump did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They're upset at the fact that the only reason he interfered was because he's getting something out of it, I think. And from what I've known is they used to have contracts with Chevron and things like that. So it's always about the money or the resources. And the same thing I feel when Trump gets involved in other places is not necessarily because he cares about the people directly.
Yeah, but this is all something that benefits all those people that are protesting against them. Like, you
I
think
don't
it's
know.
just
We're
like
gonna see.
an agenda of this strong dislike towards the president?
No.
That's what it feels like. Because, I think it's a little ballsy that he went into Venezuela and did that. And I'm kind of surprised that it doesn't stir up more international conflict, because Venezuela does have a huge portion, one of the I think it's the largest oil reserves. What that means is if America is able to access, or they're going to control that, it's deflationary. So the cost of goods is going to go down because there's such a large influx of oil that the US is going to have. So gasoline, basically everything is going to go down in price. It also takes away some of the influence that Saudi Arabia has, because they also have the next largest oil reserve. But something interesting that they're doing supposedly is that they're just going to hold off on selling their oil and play the long-term game.
Where?
In Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
I also read that somewhere.
Oh, because I was going to say, and USA already sold 500 million of
Yeah, exactly.
Venezuelan oil, so.
So
Already?
Saudi Arabia is supposedly, to counteract that, they're going to hold on to their oil long term, so that in the future, when it starts to become scarce again, they can continue to control it.
Mm.
But in the short term, the US having access to so much oil is actually deflationary. And it's supposed to benefit the citizens.
Everybody in the United States?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to have to see, because so far I still think gas prices here in California are expensive.
In addition to the oil, there's something very interesting that I ran into, that supposedly Venezuela has one of the largest crypto holdings. We're talking about 600,000 Bitcoin.
Wow.
And
How's that
so
possible?
supposedly through illegal activity, they funnel their money into crypto. And so if the US controls Venezuela, then in theory, they're also going to take control of the crypto. And currently, the only crypto holdings that the US have are cryptos that have been seized for illegal activities. So the US government has not purchased Bitcoin or any cryptocurrencies, but what they have done is through illegal activities from criminals, when they put them in jail, they seize their crypto and then they hold it. Even though they may not access the 600,000 Bitcoin from Venezuela, at the very least, it's going to be locked, right? So no one's going to be able to access that. And so it's, in theory, that's bullish for crypto, because the more scarce it is, they're holding it, they're not selling it. That means the value of it's going to go up. So for crypto holders, that was very, very good news as well. But still poses the question, is what Trump did a good thing or a bad thing? Let us know in the comment section down below what you guys think. There's those conspiracies that say that before certain things come out, they kind of hint at us through like movies and pop culture. Supersonic weapon that was used in Venezuela is something that came out in Iron Man. Lilo to this day doesn't remember it.
I don't remember, but I was gonna say it came out in Stranger Things too.
Yeah, essentially he has
people were saying about Stranger Things.
a button.
Say
The first movie, he has a button, and then when he presses it, it starts going dee, and then Tony Stark is just like frozen. He can't do anything. And he's like, you can see his veins pop out, and he's like, And then the other bald guy has like those things you put on when you sleep. I don't know what they're called. Earplugs? Oh, yeah. They're really called earplugs? Yeah. Those earplugs that cancel out the noise.
It's for the ear
plug.
Go on.
And supposedly that stopped him from being affected by that same technology. But I just thought it was interesting.
I think the Stranger Things is more accurate because the girl, 11, she hears that frequency from the government. Literally. And it's crazy because the government does it to her and she starts bleeding from the nose. So if you say that they fell to the ground, and she falls to the ground too, and she starts bleeding, and then she starts going crazy on the floor.
Yeah, they said they vomited. That's according to the guard that was interviewed. And I believe on X, the press secretary of the U.S. retweeted that section or article interview of whoever interviewed. I mean, it's interesting. Maybe that's the reason why they're bold enough to go in and capture the leaders whenever they're not doing what they want them to do. As you asked the question, was it right or wrong? A lot of people find it that it's wrong because you know how part of the U.S. used to be Mexico, so the colonizers have always taken advantage of the Native American lands, and they've exploited, the work of the people who have been here. So not only have they taken the lands, but they've also kind of enslaved them into certain structures and systems. So I think that's the actual fight or like the anger behind things. How would you feel if USA did try to clean the drug lords in Mexico?
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I definitely do think that the whole cartels is very crippling to a lot of the Mexican people out there. But I genuinely don't understand why the U.S. would have to do something about it. I feel like that's something that Mexico should have been solving a long time ago. I mean, to a certain degree, here in the U.S., that's still an issue.
Yeah.
But they seem to keep to themselves because there are stricter laws. So why isn't that other countries aren't able to do what we do here? To me, it just kind of doesn't make sense. It's kind of like during the Pablo Escobar era. He was put to a stop. He was considered a national terrorist. And so as soon as that happened, they got rid of him. Mm. Right? And it's the same thing. You can send CIA and DEA operatives from the U.S. to help. But I think Mexico should have been solved this issue.
Or maybe the government of Mexico is working with the cartels and that's why.
Yeah.
The president of Mexico said she wasn't going to do much about the situation. And previously, there's been allegations that Obrador's party was being funded. So the problem is that a lot of these politicians are being bought off. And if they don't listen to what the cartel wants, their families are going to be killed and they're going to be also tortured. So I think a lot of times people just decide to side with the cartel because it's the easy way out. We did speak about Mayor in Michoacan being murdered because he was standing up to these corrupt politicians. And then I had a conversation with one of our uncles and he said that he thought that if he would have continued, he would have probably ran for president and he would have tried to take down the corruption, and they didn't want that. But who knows? We don't know.
Kind of like that movie we saw, a U.S. military operation in Afghanistan, right, where they put their lives in danger because they played by the rules and they have strict rules. It's the same thing. That is the only reason as to why I could imagine they don't go after them, because they're extremely powerful and they don't play by the rules. So,
but then would you say that maybe I shouldn't get into this topic, but technically, would you think it was fair that the U.S. if they used a supersonic weapon, was it fair advantage against Venezuela, knowing that Venezuela didn't have that technology?
Was it fair?
Yeah,
there's nothing is fair when it comes to war.
So same thing. They're not playing by the rules.
No, that's different because they didn't go in there and just massacre everyone.
They killed a bunch of...
Yeah.
More than USA soldiers were not killed. No USA...
But so the casualties were...
From them.
Yeah, so the casualties were related to the military. So for example, if the cartel is involved, they would kidnap their kids and torture them until they get what they want. So those are two different things of just going after the people that are involved and the people that are defending those that are involved, as opposed to just going after innocent lives and bringing them into that mess. So that's what I mean about it. But also, if the U.S. operatives were to go into Venezuela and there's a guard there and he says, I surrender, they're not supposed to kill him. Otherwise, they can they can face serious issues in the States, right? And if a commanding officer sees that, that's not a good thing for whoever killed that individual. So that's what I mean by, they other nations and other syndicates and other cartels are not going to play by the rules. That was my train of thought, though. What was the whole
supersonic weapon?
Oh yeah.
I think that's scary.
Yeah, imagine you're a soldier and you're just. It's already a lot of adrenaline and something difficult to go up against the U.S. in a war or in a battle like that, and then you just get disoriented by that.
I know, and you don't know if it's gonna have like after effects
or
impacts, like if it affects your cognitive.
Like, there's no amount of training that will prepare you for that. Like, you're just gonna
unless
drop.
You're expecting it, but I don't think they were expecting it, if it's true. And the thing is, now we mentioned that he wants to step into Greenland. Apparently Greenland, I think it's part of Denmark. They're not officially part of the NATO, but because they're affiliated with Denmark, they have said that if Trump does decide to take action towards Greenland and try to take over the French troops and Switzerland's troops and some other troops are also getting involved.
Yes, and NATO.
Don't like that.
Yeah, they're going to. Greenland called up NATO to help defend if the U.S. tries to do something. Mm-hmm. And so that can stir up conflict with Europe or.
Yeah, because isn't the U.S. also make sense.
Yeah, they're part of NATO.
So, but to me, it's like I don't understand why Trump is saying that if he doesn't get Greenland, China and Russia, they're gonna go and get it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not as informed in that subject.
Yeah, I saw that.
Let us know. What do you know about the situation? What do you think? Like, do you think that?
I think it's monetary. Like, it's just money related. Mm-hmm. The U.S. is facing the collapse of the dollar. Every great empire has done this. Once they start printing too much money and inflation starts to kick in, they start to overextend. And then that's when, like, it's part of, I think it's like stage 5 of the collapse of most nations. There's like 7 stages to it. One of the biggest problems, like, for example, the Roman Empire, the Spanish Empire, and the English Empire all did is that they tried to expand too much. And so right now, I mean, that's something that the U.S. is currently doing. It's actually been kind of strategic because Venezuela is a smart move. Like, they're going to have access to, the largest oil reserves, and that's going to be good for the economy. And then there's crypto. In the grand scheme of things, 600,000 Bitcoin, which is like 60 billion, isn't much. It's a lot of money, but it's bullish. So it just means that, it can stimulate the market. And then also over here with Greenland, the whole idea is national security. So the U.S. can put bases in Greenland, and essentially that positions them in the Arctic where they're able to detect missiles coming to the U.S. much sooner. And they're also able to monitor with the Navy all the ships that try to come by. Yeah. So essentially it is, in theory, it makes sense that Greenland is a national security move. But there's another interesting point, which, again, there's always a benefit with what America does. Like, it's always been the thing that they do. They gain influence in other countries and they essentially take them for profit, right? So whatever natural resource they have. And Greenland, supposedly 80% of Greenland is under ice. And with global warming, what could happen is could expose more natural resources that the U.S. can take. So like oil and stuff, other stuff, and other minerals.
Like iron.
Yeah, iron. I remember reading about iron. It could potentially have oil reserves because it's like land that hasn't been excavated.
But I think in this case, like, wouldn't it be better to just make a partnership with Greenland instead of just trying to be at war with everybody? Like, I don't.
Yeah, because it's like,
I don't like wars.
It's
conflict.
At what point do people say enough is enough, Trump or the U.S., right? Because it's like, oh, they took Venezuela. They're going to take Greenland. And then now Mexico is going to be over there afraid. Every nation that has ruled the world, or just people in general, it's part of like, how can I say, human nature, that whoever has the bigger stake is going to use it to their advantage.
But not at the expense of like innocent people.
I mean, because if that doesn't happen, so another country's going to do it to you.
I don't know.
But here's the difference: the U.S. doing it has been less tyrannical.
Well, we don't know that. We only see what they decide to show us. So.
No, like it's been less. You can go to any nation in the world. What nation can't you visit? And if you can't visit it, it's because of their government.
Yeah, it's because of their government.
Yeah, so like Western civilization so far has been one of the best civilizations made for the sake of the people. Every other nation that has been in control has always been tyrannical. Like your rights are almost non-existent. All of us have fortunately enough, we're born here and we're able to reap the benefits of, the US being such a great nation. But them taking advantage of the fact that they currently have a big stick, do you think it's worth it? Imagine if it was the other way around. Like, for example, a country like Russia.
I don't
or
know.
China.
I only know, what I've been exposed to, but I have not had the opportunity to travel to Asia, and I've heard that the way they're organized and the systems that they've built has been working for them, and they have a nice society. So a lot of the jokes that were happening when TikTok was being bananas back in 2025, they were saying that a lot of Americans saw Red Note, the app, and how a lot of Chinese were living. And they were like, oh, we're over here thinking that they're having terrible lives. They're like slaves or like under restricted rules. But they were happy, and they were like, the way their system was good. And it works for them. I mean, obviously there's people who are always not in agreement with that. So I don't know. What I know of, like, based on my existence living here in the USA, I mean, I've enjoyed it. I've had a good lifetime so far. So I don't know. I can't really answer for that, because I feel like it depends on where you were born. Because obviously if you were born in the Middle East, in a country that is always dictated by war, and there's like explosions, and then you have like the extremist groups murdering regular citizens and politicians, my perspective would be different.
No, but I'm telling you, let's say you're born in Canada. Canada doesn't have a military.
But they're in peace.
Why? And that's the point that I feel like you're not. Maybe I'm probably
maybe
not
their leadership. I don't know.
No, I'm not explaining it to you.
They have good health care.
I'm not explaining it to you in the best possible way. But Canada is.
I wouldn't mind being a citizen from Canada.
Yeah, they're not being invaded by Russia or China. Why? Because the U.S. keeps everyone in check.
U.S. wanted Canada, but Canada doesn't want to be part of it.
And if U.S. wanted to force their way into Canada, they could. So why don't they? And this is what I mean. Like, if a different country was in control, do you think they wouldn't overextend?
I don't know.
No, like, it's just, that's what I'm saying, that is like proof that, the nation, that the U.S. being on top of the world has been a net positive for the world, because there's a lot of countries that are really, really defenseless towards bigger countries who have bigger sticks, but those countries are not going to come anywhere close to those countries because of the U.S.
So what do you all think? Do you agree with Ismail?
Well, all I'm saying is I'm glad I'm not a world leader, because that is some difficult decisions that you have to make. To put things into perspective, what happens if, and this is probably already a thing, right? But what if the cartel takes over Mexico? How do you think that would look?
Bad.
I think it's already a thing.
I know, but
because
it's like,
the whole idea, they were saying allegedly that Claudia was backed by them. So.
And so every time we go to Mexico, how is it like? Everyone's saying, "Oh, you can't go out." Paranoid about our safety. I mean, here it's very different. Women are able to just roam the streets
but not at night.
It happens
I
all the
don't
time.
think not as
night.
much.
But you go to other countries.
We can, but
Compared to other countries.
compared to other countries, yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
If you were to walk home from school every single day, the likelihood of something happening to you is extremely low compared
I
to
don't
in
agree
other
with that
countries.
statement.
Maybe because I had a friend who would be on the bus all the time, even night to day.
Well, there's
so.
reasons why our cousins decided to get cars. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can still get harassed verbally. Like people can be staring at you, that make you feel uncomfortable and all. But
no,
like
but
in Mexico, it just feels like
compare-
it's like your life is at risk. Like that's how everyone makes it seem.
But here's the thing: I've always been fine. Like in terms, except in certain areas where I feel a little unsafe. But I wouldn't go out after hours.
When we went to Louisiana, New Orleans, did you feel unsafe?
Yeah. But when I've ridden the public transportation, and for the most part, it's okay. But it is a little, like, it does feel a little more unsafe compared to
because
the USA.
They could just stop the bus over there and start shooting up, take out a gun and be like, give me all you got over there.
Like imagine, we go to Mexico, right? To the motherland. And like we decide to drive there, and then the cartel just stops us, and then they said, get out. We're taking your truck and everything.
Yeah, you don't even know.
Yeah, what can you do? And so when you
could do that day and night.
When you face someone that has a bigger stick than you and they use it so boldly, that's a problem. And so something that I've been able to admire about the US is like the checks and balances and the system that they've been able to create such a order around the world. Because back in the day, the further you go back in history, if your freaking neighbor like Canada does not have a military, like you're done. There's no reason as to why Canada would still be around without a military, without a way to protect themselves. And so the US allows that to happen. If the US, like I'm telling you, if they start to overextend, then other countries like Russia and China, they're going to start saying, hey, bro, you need to chill, because if not, we going to step in. And then that stirs up conflict with other nations. Right. And so also that can also inspire them to be more bold. So, for example, China can take Taiwan, and Taiwan is a big chip manufacturer, which is why the US is still, basically keeping China at bay. But essentially, China can take over Taiwan. Right? There's really no reason for them not to, outside of the conflict that it will start between the US. And so that's what I'm saying, that the US having the bigger stick has been a net positive to the world. I also saw that, they were kind of mocking Russia because they haven't been able to do what Trump did in like a day. Yeah, Russia with Ukraine. They've been at it for so long.
But that's because the USA has also been funding Ukraine. So I don't think that I feel like that's why they haven't been able to do.
But like you said, Venezuela is being helped by Russia and China.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, but do you think like if Russia had the ability to put an end to Ukraine like this, why don't they?
I don't know.
Because they can't.
I'm not that informed.
I mean, recently, just like what happened with Venezuela has been like a reminder to the world that the U.S. is still in control. And it could have potentially all been an act. Venezuela could be like working with the U.S. and be like, hey, you know what? We're going to come in, we're going to take you. And all of this is for the profit of everyone.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the president of Venezuela did like a sign when he was cuffed?
No, what was it?
I don't know.
I saw him wearing that Nike jumpsuit.
People were criticizing his arrest and the fact that he kept changing outfits. They're like, they treat him better than they're treating the immigrants in our country.
That kind of makes sense. I mean,
no, that's effed up. Like, why would they treat him better? He's a criminal, isn't he?
But I mean, until
Like,
America gets what he wants.
Well, the same thing with the immigrants. Like, these immigrants are not.
You're comparing an immigrant to
narcotics.
Yes, the leader of a country.
That is terrible.
Do you understand the secrets that they need to dissect from him before?
I guess.
You
But
know,
he's
so
not
for
gonna say
example,
anything.
you know the only way the U.S. can
I wouldn't
access
say
their
anything.
crypto
What?
By
if
him.
they willingly do it. They have to agree to do it.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
And so
Venezuela
maybe
has to
he's
win.
taking advantage.
So they can't keep
No,
it
they
without-
can't just like take it.
I
They
thought
need
can.
the
Don't they have
passwords,
the-
no?
It's a bit.
Don't they have the technology? That
No.
doesn't make, to me, it doesn't make sense that y'all don't have the technology. You have the
Because
technology to do
the
these
guy
things,
who made Coinbase or
So-
crypto did a
like keys, they
Yeah.
need their keys to access the wallet, and also there's a legal process because, like I
Yeah.
said, the U.S. goes through legal procedures, checks and balances. It has to go through courts in order for them to be able to access the
Like,
stuff.
literally a YouTuber literally says that.
So
I
think go on.
yes, bad guys could use Coinbase crypto without the government touching it,
Yeah,
so
and
they could get away with it.
And so first they would have to locate the wallets, and then they would have to try him. I believe, you don't quote me on this, but like they would have to try him with in court. Like, this is the criminal case we brought against him. These are his illegal activities that are linked to this crypto wallet, and then they can seize it, right? But it's not something that is, easy. It's a complicated matter. But to me, it makes sense. That's just like one segment. Like, what if he has information of Russia? Like, Russia has been aiding him in military, and they have bases there, so he can essentially give U.S. all the information now that they control Venezuela.
But you think he's really gonna say it?
Yeah. Well, he's definitely gonna say it, but it makes sense to me that they'd be treating him well.
It doesn't make sense to me.
And I think he would be like, okay, if I tell you information, I want this much sentence.
Yeah.
In jail.
Maybe
that's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Make it 5.
I want a steak
it one.
dinner
Make
every
it
night.
5, and I tell you everything about
Free
China.
privileges to come out.
I want Fernando's catering
To cater.
to cater.
Right here in
Oh
front of
my
my
God.
cell.
I
You
wouldn't.
like
Would you
Venezuela?
cater at a prison?
Yeah,
I don't think I want to go to a prison.
that'd be fun.
Actually, I've
They'll
been
start
to one
whistling at me and Jocelyn.
Nah, I don't think you guys would be allowed to go in.
Oh, because it's men's?
Yeah, and if you did, it would be like something that's barricaded. It's just for safety. Maduro's in a prison with P. Diddy and Tekashi 6ix9ine. That's
Tekashi 6ix9ine is in prison.
yeah. I think he
Really?
violated his parole and they sent him back to prison.
Wow. Iran has also been a place that Trump wants to go and get involved. Apparently, there's been protests happening among their own citizens about inflation and just in general, their rights have been violated.
Their economy is just tanking
Oh.
Yeah, they're
because of the heavy sanctions that the country has.
the Iranian money is not worth that much, and
Isn't there
it's
no
not
Wi-Fi right
livable.
now?
And then also, women don't have a lot of rights. And there was a blackout that happened when one of the protests, and apparently, I think more than 2,000 people have died, and about 14,000 were in prison.
The hyperinflation happened to their dollar. $1 with versus the Iranian dollar is 1.4 million. Isn't that
It's a
insane?
lot. Is it a lot? Yeah. You
So,
said million?
If a
So
property
if I go, can I put that in a bag and take it with me?
and so if a property like in Pasadena that's worth $1.4 million,
Uh-huh.
you can go to Iran and buy the same property with $1.
Damn. Send me to
Does that
Iran.
make sense? But
Yeah,
send me.
that's crazy.
that's an overly simplistic way of saying it, but a property wouldn't be worth that. It would
wouldn't
be worth
it, it
more
would be
than
more.
that. But
But imagine
just goes
having
to show.
4 Iranian dollars.
okay, so here's another way. So you have $1.4 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. US dollars, $1.4 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the next day you wake up and it's worth $1.
Oh.
That's what Iran is currently facing. Now, that jump didn't happen that crazy. I think last year it was like something like 700,000, which is still a lot. So $1 was worth 700,000 Iranian dollars. And then in a course of 1 year, it jumped to 1.4 million. So that is called hyperinflation. And so
is that going to happen here?
It's already happening.
So my dollar is going to be worth...
Yeah, it's going to be worth less.
Nothing.
Well, yeah, essentially, that's what it is. If you look at the value of properties, like back then, how much were they? They were a lot cheaper than what they are right now. Same thing with eggs, same thing with milk. Like everything is constantly going up. Why? Because the U.S. is printing money.
Over 18,000 people have been detained, and about 3, I guess detained is different from arrested.
But why?
Because they're protesting.
So they don't have freedom of speech?
No.
Damn.
And so Trump is saying that they can't be doing that, like killing people or detaining them because they're protesting. Mm-hmm. And so that's why, from my understanding, that's why he was going to start getting involved.
So now what does Iran have?
Exactly. Oil. And
the whole fucking earth has oil. Stop it, Jocelyn. You're telling me we don't have oil here. Every single time I go out there, I swear I see that thing going in and out to get oil.
We do, but other countries have more of it. And
what does that even mean? Like
they have bigger oil reserves. That's it. Like for example, right now, but there's different kinds of oils. So the type of oil that Venezuela has is thicker, and it's harder to refine. So that's why it helps the U.S. because we have the technology to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And Venezuela, however, struggles with it. So they have so much of something that they're not using, to my understanding. I could be wrong. But for example, Saudi Arabia has a ton of oil as well, but theirs is more clear. It's more valuable, I believe, because with the Venezuela oil, despite the fact that there's a lot of it, it has to go through a harsher process to get it for us to be able to use.
Damn.
So this article on BBC said that a typical construction worker from Iran earns less than $100 a month.
Well, this is why there's a lot of people who come in illegally to other countries because of that exact reason, that their government is treating them horrible, their citizens.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
They just want to control.
And you could tell Trump, he feels some type of way, but not that much. Like, he's like, you're not supposed to be killing people just because they're protesting. But he can't let them in here because he's not for that.
So the key reasons people in Iran are protesting, so we've already mentioned economic collapse, anti-government sentiment. So protest escalated from economic grievances, anger against the ruling establishments and the supreme leader, women's right and body autonomy, political repression.
I have seen that, I don't know if it's in Iran, but they, like somewhere out there, they make the woman cover their entire body. And even with so, like everything.
Yeah, you know, in like that's the 70s or 60s, it wasn't like that.
Where in Iraq? Really?
And even so that the women cover themselves, they still get harassed.
Wait, why do you say it wasn't like that? Did you see
There's a different government. And so that regime that took over ended up changing things up, and it had a negative effect in terms of rights and
progression for women.
Yeah.
Well, over there, they're more viewed as property, and women can't go out in the street without having a man.
Imagine if they had the bigger stake and they're in control of the world.
Women?
Iran.
Oh. Me and Jocelyn are cooked. Michael, he's still okay.
I'm further supporting my previous claim that the U.S. being in control has been a net positive for the world.
Well, I think that's just extremist religious groups. So the same thing can happen here. If certain religious groups decide to take over.
Let me say something.
We've progressed a lot, but the U.S. allows you to express whatever religion you want. America. I thought it was interesting because the majority of the Greenland population is actually also indigenous, right? So it's really Trump just wants the natural resources and the strategic placement in the Arctic.
And then he wants to take everybody out and say that you're not from there. What is going on with ice?
Jesus flipping Christ.
I'm annoyed with ice. No.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm boycotting ice. Bland drinks, warm drinks.
You guys are funny.
So unfortunately, there have been multiple incidents where you can say that there's been abuse of power.
Yeah, I don't know why why the government is letting them just do whatever they want. Like,
But
why can't they do it like by rules, how they make the police be in rules? You know, like you can't arrest somebody.
There's going to be a time that they will face repercussions, but the problem is, what type of people do you think that job attracts?
KKK.
Like white supremacists, like people who are racist. Like, as much as you, like, if you're a Latino, I'm pretty sure you're gonna do your job. You're not gonna like it, but it's your job.
I don't know. There seems to be like a couple Latino agents who seem to be enjoying
because of the money. Supposedly,
not just the money. They've just been enjoying.
They have to feed their families.
No, that's a terrible angle.
They're making
here's my perspective. Like, there are ways to go about doing your job and being humane about it. There's no need for you to kill people. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the viewers have seen it, but to give them context, like what has been happening.
There's been multiple instances in Minneapolis when ICE agents have been conducting raids. And in one instance, a woman known as Renee was shot and killed when she was leaving her home.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning.
All this was witnessed by the neighbors, and I think she had a wife.
Have some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
I think could have been different ways. Like, he couldn't shoot at the tires to deflate them.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the car, like, I don't know. There's different ways to have the car not drive away. And you know, the sad part thing is that she's an American citizen. So there was no reason for them to be interrogating her or anything.
So how did she turn into a target to begin with? Like before he was they shot this woman.
My understanding, they were just raiding her neighborhood.
But like, why did he get triggered?
He just wanted to show his power.
But like, what did she say to trigger him?
And again, I'm not defending the agent at all. Like, I'm curious to know the story. Like, because I've been seeing TikToks about it, but I haven't actually taken the time to look into it. But I think it's important to understand, like, what were the events that led to that.
So this is an ABC News article that says Minneapolis ICE shooting, a minute-by-minute timeline of how Renee Nicole Good died. She was 37 years old. She had 3 children. So on Wednesday, January 7, 2026, federal law enforcement officers in Minneapolis were doing an enforcement operation when their vehicle got stuck in the snow. Homeland Security Kristi Noem said. She says agents called for others to help to remove the vehicle from the snow when protesters arrived and were preventing them from leaving the scene. That's what Kristi Noem is saying. So a local resident from that area told a number of neighbors they were standing watch as students were being dropped off an elementary school. At 9:35 a.m., 2 minutes before the shooting, Renee Honda is stopped diagonally on Portland Avenue while at least 4 cars pass perpendicularly, according to video footage. The passenger side front window is closed while rear window is mostly open. Seconds later, at least 3 federal agents wearing masks are seen walking towards the Honda, as bystanders can be heard whistling and yelling at officers. According to Google AI overview, she was targeted by an ICE agent because she was allegedly involved in monitoring and impeding ICE operations in Minneapolis, with federal officials claiming she tried to run an officer over with her SUV, labeling it terrorism, while her family and supporters say she was a citizen documenting law enforcement, and the shooting was unjustified. The incident occurred during an ICE operation, and while the federal government portrayed her as a domestic terrorist attempting to harm an officer, her family's lawyer stated that she was simply documenting agents, and video evidence showed conflicting narratives between her actions before being shot. There's been instances where federal agents have lied about how the situation went on, and one of those cases was, remember last year I talked about the Latina woman who was in her car and the agents crashed into it and they tried to blame it on her. Well, it wasn't her and her spouse's fault.
Damn, it sounds like a hot mess.
Yeah, it is. Here's the thing that a lot of people have been criticizing is that for school shooters and things like that, that they don't get shot down that way. They get arrested and they're not even mistreated to that extreme. And so that's why people are also criticizing the way these operations are being held.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that he's still working because, like, if it was a police, they would be in court. And and they would have taken away his badge.
Another severe instance was a man who was protesting against ICE in Santa Ana and he lost his eye because they shot at it.
No.
They shot his eye?
He was 21 years old, he is 21 years old, and he will never regain sight in his left eye. There was a fragment that went to his carotid artery. And it can't be safely removed.
Damn, how do you even survive that? The pain, losing an
That's why
eye.
I think it is fine to, like, protest and stuff, but you also shouldn't be putting your life in danger. Like, I don't know. So that was the other instance of some of the major stories that hit headlines, but I think there's ways to go about conducting these operations, and if you're a bystander, I think you should record and stuff, but I don't think you should be arguing or trying to fight with ICE because you're not going to win. We're already seeing that, unfortunately, these people are using their power, and
it's a horrible situation, man. Mom was saying that some of her friends were mentioning that ICE was just walking around the neighborhoods and then picking up people. It's crazy. We live in some interesting times. But, I mean, I hope ICE plays it by the book and they stop doing these unlawful acts, because murdering people just because they're protesting, I don't know, it just doesn't
make sense
at all.
And that's why I'm saying that it's kind of ironic that Trump is going to want to go into Iran and supposedly stop their government from murdering or detaining people who are just protesting. So there's been a couple of videos circulating online of users claiming that they were abroad and their passports were canceled or wiped out, like their information was non-existent.
Someone or something in the Trump administration wiped my existence from the US passport database. Let me explain. On December 19th, 2025, I received a notice at 2:17 in the morning.
So they were saying that they couldn't come back to the USA.
Damn.
I saw like 4 videos on
Oh,
it.
heck no.
Specifically on TikTok.
If you're American and you have an international trip coming up, I know you're probably panicking right now if you've been seeing the viral videos of people saying that they went on vacation, they traveled, got to their destination, and then upon arrival, they found out that their passports were canceled, and it was not canceled by them.
That's crazy. That's why I've also been a little skeptical about traveling. Remember I told you since last year I didn't really, like, I want to travel, but I don't think it's the time. So I don't know why those passports in particular were flagged or something, and apparently it takes some time to like actually cancel them. So like you had to go through like a whole process to actually make sure that your passport is not valid. Damn. So that's why they don't know why it happened. Even the US embassies didn't know why it happened. But
so they didn't give them back their passport?
No, it's just they couldn't. I mean, they had to apply for an emergency one abroad because they were taking trips. But my thing is, why didn't it get flagged when they were leaving? You know, when they scanned it in the beginning. Have y'all heard about these incidents? And will you be traveling?
Imagine we're forced to stay in Europe because we decided to go over there and our passports, for whatever reason, get revoked. Man, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, you had to have, like, figure out a way to prove that it's your identity. So,
by the card, no, that they give us.
well, if your information is wiped, how will you prove that it's you? Imagine that's all.
Then that's bullshit. Then why'd you give us that?
That would be crazy. Even here, like if they're doing it over there, imagine it was just testing and they do it here and then you just show your agents the passport and they're like, oh, you're not a citizen. That's freaky.
Damn.
Hopefully it was just a glitch in the system.
Do you guys know who's James Thomas Fishback? He's a American investor. He's one of the candidates for the Republican nomination in 2026 for Florida national election. He wants to create sin taxes. I mean, the way I understood it, he basically mostly meant towards OnlyFans people to be taxed for what they're doing. And I was just reading like the comments and stuff. At first, I think he posted it a bit like early, and I saw the comments that the side that people were like, oh no, I don't want that. Who is this? This is a bad idea. Stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
And then I saw recently, right, like today, I looked up the video again, and the top comments were saying, oh, I want him for president now. You know?
I still find it amazing that the OnlyFans women are making so much money off of that.
But that's the fault of the consumer.
So,
Yeah, I don't understand how... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand how guys are willing to pay money. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
so he proposed like a
male loneliness epidemic.
I guess.
He proposed for the sin tax 50%.
That's crazy. I don't know how I feel about that.
No, you know it's crazy because that's...
I want it to happen.
I'm not for OnlyFans. I think it shouldn't be allowed in general. But I also don't know if I like the idea of them sharing their profits.
But here's the thing.
Thinking from the business perspective.
And I saw
But I
people-
guess maybe it makes sense because business owners have to pay taxes.
Yeah. So, but then, you know, he's in Florida, and supposedly Sophie Rain, one of the top OnlyFans girls over there, she responded and she was like, he's only doing it because I'm famous and he's getting clout.
Never in my whole life did I think that I would wake up and see a Florida politician trying to start beef with me for clout. So he's proposing a sin tax on bops where we would have to pay 50% to the state on top of the 37 I already paid to the government. And I would be more than happy to pay that if multi-billion-dollar corporations were also being properly taxed. But surprise, they're not.
Actually pay their taxes, because there's companies out there that are not paying their taxes fully. So she said that.
That has nothing to do with this. So I think
it does have to do with
no, not at all.
business.
It has nothing to do with getting more money, but just pointing out a fact that they're profiting off of degeneracy, and he wants to create a tax to target them. But it is a little bit harsh because that doesn't mean she's excluded from every other tax. So the normal state and federal tax that she has in Florida is probably like what, 30%, and on top of that she gets a 50% sin tax. So like she's like at 80%. Like the majority of her paycheck is gone. And mind you, to a creator that big, it doesn't do much. I mean, it does a lot for sure, but like if she's racking up like 100,000 a month, which is probably nowhere close to what she's making, she's probably doing a lot more. That means she's doing 20,000 instead of 100,000.
There are clearly better ways to raise funds from actual corrupt businesses in our country. I think that people also fail to realize that there are so many creators on this platform that do this job because they're struggling. So to tax them like that when they're literally doing it just to support their families is sad. I would much rather continue donating directly to people in need because we all really know where our tax dollars go.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I just think they just need to eliminate those platforms, and men need to learn not to be on those.
I feel like they don't eliminate it because the government uses that for people that they want to make business with, or whoever they want to capture. I heard the former CIA agent, CIO of Diaries, who said that they use that in order to get whatever information
Like
they
blackmail.
need. Yeah.
No, it's real because
Or not blackmail. I think they literally give it to them to get information. Get it?
yeah, because a lot of like criminals or individuals who the U.S. would be after are on those platforms paying for it. So they figure out what models are they after so that they can get information from them.
And I saw people in the comments saying like, "Oh, why aren't there candidates like him in all the states, not just Florida?" So
I don't know. I definitely agree with what she said, that it's just like a clout thing, because it's a way to get buzz. You know, like it's a very good social media marketing ploy. And I promise you, like, no one knows about this guy, and now the entire nation.
but he didn't say her name.
It doesn't matter, because his whole objective was to get a reaction out of them,
And he
so
did.
that.
I mean, I think she cared a little.
Well, obviously,
When you guys hear me say pushy outfit, like, what does your head think of?
Pillows. Or like
Okay.
something falling like.
what was it that you guys were going to tea place that you can dress up? Bridgerton. So like the poofy
Really?
outfits. That's what I think.
Pushy
Really?
outfit?
Yeah.
Well,
'Cause they're
Alabama.
very like feathery, poofy. They take up space.
Okay. Well, Alabama Baker said she goes live consistently. I don't know if it was on, like, she just goes live on whatever platform. I think this time it was TikTok. She was on live on TikTok, Alabama Baker, and she's showing us her gifts that her father gave her.
These are one of my favorites, like nasty with the Poochie outfit, nasty.
And everybody criticized them and stuff like that. And she shows these shoes that are furry. And then she was all like, this would go nasty with the Poochie outfit. And everybody went crazy because they were thinking wrong. And some knew what it was already, what she meant. So some thought it was literally a coochie from a woman. And then others thought they already knew what it was, an outfit. So basically there's a brand called Poochie. They're just known for extravagant colors, like outfits, like crazy outfits. I feel like they're 90s. How would you describe this outfit?
Retro.
Bushy outfits is just extremely colorful.
Yeah.
What?
And they're worth $1,000, $3,000.
That looks like Asian culture.
Really?
Yeah, because it was a long dress. It wasn't a dress, but it was very long and covers. Yeah, I would imagine Asian culture. From here, that's what it looks like. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and
'Cause,
supposedly the
they're like
Kardashians
bold red
worn these stuff. And like some were like, oh, you could tell people are broke because they don't know what the brand is. Because damn, this blouse for $1,000, almost to $2,000. So it was just funny that she went viral for that. And it was funny how she would say she's like nasty with a pushy outfit. This will go
I don't know why
nasty.
people thought pushy was the private part. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good marketing ploy for the company.
I would also think of pushy, maybe like a scrunchie or like a little ball. You know the little balls that you wear?
And I
when
feel
you're
like
a
she
kid?
has worn it. I think that's pushy. When it was going viral, she posted a photo of the Kardashian wearing a pushy outfit a long time ago. But
Would you
whatever.
guys get a pushy outfit?
No, I don't like it.
if it's cute, I'll think about it if I ever have money.
You know,
What
I'm
about
not
you
really.
guys? To our audience, would you guys get a pushy outfit? Comment down below. Let us know.
Absolutely not. I'll stick to Ross dress for that.
Just
The only thing maybe that I would consider buying are red bottoms. Just
you know what I would buy? I think the ones that look like little, like two toes. Have you seen those? What are they called? They look comfortable. Kim Kardashian is collaborating with Nike, and they basically made a new shoe. And would you buy it? I mean, I would. It looks comfortable. Like, it looks like a sandal, but covering your toes.
I don't think I would buy it. How much is it?
Damn. I wonder how much he's getting paid for that.
Okay, honestly, they kind of look like the shoes that you would wear when you were in school in uniform.
Me?
No, I would wear. But kind of, but not really. They're little. I don't like them.
Are you gonna show me or?
Yes.
Those are Nike.
Yeah, Skim Nike shoes.
Those are hideous.
I know.
What the heck?
They're gonna be brown, black.
How much are they?
Yeah.
Damn. So, expected impact. The announcement generated $6.1 million in media impact value with the first 48 hours.
$150.
Yeah, not
Damn.
a chance. Not
Never
a chance
mind.
I'll be buying that.
See, that's what I mean. That kind of look like school shoes. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
The ones I used to wear when I was a kid.
They look like swimming shoes.
You don't remember the charol zapatos that? How do you not know? Oh my gosh, you're somewhere else.
These look like the shoes that I wanted to buy, but they're red bottoms. Remember?
I don't like them.
They look comfortable.
How do y'all feel about the trend of women proposing to men?
Yikes.
I don't know.
1, 2, 3.
Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here.
I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And I couldn't think of a better time than to do it in front of our family. So, will you marry me?
I don't like it, to be honest.
Me neither. I want you to propose to me. No.
If a woman were to propose to me, I don't think I would trust her.
What?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with trust? Wouldn't that mean that?
Something's wrong.
Well, that something's wrong with you because you haven't proposed to her. I think it's that's especially
true.
But let's say
I think it's especially wrong.
you're a year into your relationship and then she proposes to you.
Oh, hey, no.
Like, something's wrong. Like,
She loves you so much. She wants to tie
I wouldn't
the knot.
trust her. I'd be
No,
like,
you know what my biggest, like, I'm really annoyed with this topic because if you already know, you know, then he's going to propose to you. Like, you don't have to do all that. And then I've seen one of those videos and the guy just looks uncomfortable that she's proposing.
Yeah, because I don't think he wanted to marry them.
Exactly.
That's
so,
what I feel. And a lot of
Oh.
times they've like, it's been like an 8-year relationship or so, 5 or more, and the woman is proposing.
Yeah, so this is my point with that. If you know you've been with that person for that long, then you gotta leave, because if they're not proposing and that's what you wanted, then you didn't talk about it since the beginning or something. Like if you know that they haven't proposed for 5 years or at least 3 or 2, then you gotta go. You're wasting your time.
you would just dump the guy?
Yes. First of all, obviously before dumping, you have to
I think you have to talk about it.
Yeah, you have to talk about it.
At least at one point in the relationship, especially if it's been more than 3 years.
Yeah.
If marriage or plans for marriage have not come up, then what are you doing? It depends on your goals too, because some people don't want to get married.
Exactly. So. But I mean, I hate relationships because if you don't want to date to marry, then why are you dating? Just freaking go bed to bed then, if that's what you want. Because
there's many reasons as to why you would date someone without wanting to marry them. It just because it doesn't fit with your ideology doesn't mean it's incorrect. Like, who died and said, "Oh, Lilo's way of living is the right one"? No one. So don't judge others for having different lifestyles.
That is wrong. You know who did die and said it is wrong? Jesus Christ. And it's not my fault they're not believing in that.
It's a very good point, Lilo.
Yeah. The practice of kneeling and getting down on one knee became popular in the 1800s. So I think usually for like proposals and things like that, especially in the ancient times, it was arranged by families and for more agreements, for convenience in politics. But in this case, like, I don't know. I think you definitely should be talking about it after 3 years, especially if marriage is your long-term goal. But I would feel some kind of way if my brother's in a relationship and she proposes.
Yeah.
All right, let's make a clip right for TikTok. Misleading. I expect a woman to get on her knees and propose to me.
Oh my god. What do you think?
insane to me.
Are you guys more on the traditional route? Do you think it's like wrong for the woman to propose? Because a lot of people say it's empowerment.
I'd rather die
Woman empowerment
than to not go the traditional way. I'm not even joking.
Woman empowerment, or is it not woman empowerment?
Yeah, no, like you guys mentioned,
That's
it's
not woman
unnecessary.
empowerment.
I think it's unnecessary. It kind of flips the dynamic, and I don't think it's a good thing.
Like, if you're already seen in the video that the guy is uncomfortable, something's wrong in your relationship. Like, you shouldn't have done that. You should, like Jocelyn and I said, lead to that conversation. And if they keep, like, brushing off the conversation about marriage and stuff, then he's not for you. Go glow up or something. Drop him. Kick him to the curb. No.
It's a sign.
Great. Well, thank you so much for tuning in on this week's episode of GuacnChippies.
Chippies.
Hope to see you next time and stay safe.